Walt Disney once said, "There's a terrific power to music. You can run any of these pictures and they'd be dragging and boring, but the minute you put music behind them, they have a life and vitality that they don't get any other way." And when you think about it, that's the magic of Disney: animation, storytelling, and, of course, unforgettable music.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
Yeah, Tamara Dhia, welcome back to our lovely show of Spout that we are joined by each other once again. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic. If you can't tell right now, I'm dressed in full Pizza Planet delivery boy from Toy Story attire because...
Cool.
Yep. So if you're listening to this, you can catch the video version on our YouTube, but I'm in full out Disney mode because I was just on this insane Disney trip where I went from Florida to the Bahamas on the Disney Wish Cruise with my little nephews, and it was incredible. And I just freaking loved it. So that's how I'm doing. A little sad to be back in reality, but that was awesome.
What's a Disney cruise like? I've never been on one.
So there's so much to do on it. It was my second one with my nephews. The first time I went on one, it was out of California up to like the Canada area, so it was cold, but this one was down to the nice hot beaches. Disney owns a beach in the Bahamas, by the way.
Ooh.
And they take you there. But it's cool. There's just the characters walking around the boat, and there's fun shows going on all the time with their biggest movies. They had a Little Mermaid show going on stage, and they have so many cool themed dinners. We went to a Marvel themed dinner where Spider-Man came out and said hi to everyone. My nephews are 4 and a year
I bet they are in
so
heaven.
They had the time of their lives, but they have daily drawing classes where they teach you how to draw characters, and I was in like every one of those every day, and I had the time of my life.
Who did you learn how to draw?
Oh man, Ursula was the one that I
Ooh.
nailed. So I know I'm gonna make that picture pop up right now. But we had Goofy, the chicken from Moana, who's like hi, whose name I can't remember, but it was so cool because every day they would just say, "Stop on by for 30 minutes. We'll show you how to do this." Are you a big Disney person?
I mean, who's not really? I mean, I grew up on Disney, but I'm of a different era. So I grew up, with The Little Mermaid and Lion King and Aladdin.
Me too.
As a young Middle Eastern girl growing up in the South, the only real representation I had in media was Jasmine from Aladdin. So when that came out and that was a big thing, I was like so excited to have some sort of representation. So that was really cool. But admittedly, I am not a Disney adult. So I know that there's a lot of people that are diehard Disney fans. And I see a lot of them on TikTok as adults. It's like their big thing. They go multiple times a year. They get all the outfits. Like they're just diehard Disney. And a lot of them don't even have children. So it's like their own, not obsession, but like excitement about Disney. So I saw this funny TikTok, which we'll add in here, of this kind of a curmudgeon old man, but he's not as excited about Disney as the people that
everyone else in his family.
Going to Disney World. Disney World. Papa, where are you going?
Papa, where are you going? To hell.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it's so funny. So I feel like the internet is very split on Disney adults. Like there's some people that just don't get it and they think that these people should just grow up, and it's like, what are you doing? And then there's the other side where the people that are just like, this is such an innate part of who I am. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. So, I'm of the camp where I'm like, if it makes you happy, do you, boo boo. But I did do something.
What did you do?
I went on ChatGPT.
Oh, one of my best friends in this day and age.
Yeah, no, same. I love me some ChatGPT.
My own therapist.
I know. Yeah, if you're not on ChatGPT yet, what are you doing with your life, really?
Get it.
Yes.
It's seriously incredible.
But I asked ChatGPT about the phenomenon of Disney adults. And because I'm curious about like the psychology of it, right? Because there's some people that are very obsessed and they're grown and they don't even have children. So it's like their own personal.
And to say, can I say my amount of Disney adult right now, or should you first speak and then I can say, because I'm not a big Disney adult.
Okay.
No, I'm not at all. But
Yeah.
me saying, I was just on a Disney cruise.
Right.
Look at me dressed up as Disney characters.
yeah.
I sure look like I am. I'm not. And I want to point that out.
Yeah.
My nephews have made me more into Disney than I've ever been because they have the time of their lives there. And it's fun that it's characters in songs that I grew up reading and watching and seeing. So it's cool. But what did ChatGPT have to say about Disney
I love
adults?
the disclaimer there, Nick.
I had to say, I was like, I've let this go on without me saying I'm not one of those, and there is nothing wrong with that because with everything, whether it's sports and guys running around in jerseys, like everyone has their thing that they love. Disney is just of a different caliber, and it has its worldwide theme parks and its movies, and it's just a different scale than all that other stuff. So everyone, and it's like Swifties. I feel like people would compare it to that. Kind of, you know?
No, I think, look, at the end of the day, they're not hurting anybody. So,
I love it. Be happy.
But it is a phenomenon, right? So I had to ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT, clarifies Disney adults as adults with an intense love for all things Disney. And basically, from a psychological perspective, it says the mentality of a Disney adult can be examined through several lenses, including nostalgia, identity formation, escapism, and social belonging. So essentially, the nostalgia is basically that, it's a comfort thing. They have a strong emotional connection to Disney. It takes them back to, their childhood. It says here, nostalgia is known to provide comfort, reduce stress, so that's kind of like the psychological side of it. And then obviously identity and self-expression. They have integrated Disney into their own identities, whether it's through collecting merchandise or visiting the parks regularly, or even incorporating Disney themes into their major life events. Like we see Disney weddings. I've even heard of people that go and scatter ashes of their loved ones at Disney.
I know you're not supposed. Wait, disclaimer in case you're not aware, you're not supposed to do that.
Right, you're not, and I'm pretty sure. I don't know if you get fined or whatever. There is like a rule
or arrested.
Right, there's a rule against it, but people do that. So there are these people that have such an innate attachment to the Disney. Universe, the
Disney universe.
It literally is life all the way through death for them. It's also like they clarify here that it's a need for community and belonging. And they say that the Disney fandom offers a strong sense of community, and Disney adults often find like-minded individuals to share their passion. And, they can go to fan events and parks, and it's basically like a social connection for them. So that is ChatGPT's psychological breakdown of some people that might be Disney adults and why, and they feel such an attachment to it. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, so maybe I am a Disney adult, actually. I think I take back. No, I'm not. I feel that, but to me, that also sounds like the fandom and following of anything else, from religion to artists to whatever else. There's so many similarities there, from finding community or finding, but the Disney, the unique aspect from that we all have is nostalgia, because we all grew up on Disney movies. And what blew my mind when I was just reading into the songs of Disney, because they were playing them on this whole cruise, and I was hearing songs that I hadn't heard since my childhood, but I knew every word, and I'd never will forget them as my nephews are learning them. And the songs are so iconic and so old, they're just as iconic as the movies. And even thinking back to the first one, it all started in the 1930s with Snow White, which I thought was crazy because that was so long ago.
Yeah.
And it's still songs that we know to this day.
Oh, yeah.
But throughout whatever the cartoons were, I didn't even think about when they came out when I was growing up. I didn't know that stuff came out in the 30s and the 50s and the 70s and the blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it did, because growing up, the movies that I watched were Lion King, Little Mermaid, Snow White,
Same, Beauty and the Beast.
Beauty and the Beast was a huge one. And those movies all
Mulan.
had such... Mulan, which that's one that I always want to watch again, because I love to quote the songs in that, and I barely know the songs.
Yeah, shout out to Christina Aguilera. She had like the big Mulan song.
Yeah, seriously, and it was an iconic one at that. But do you have some favorite Disney movies in general growing up? I want to dive into our favorite Disney movies and then maybe some of the songs in them, because I sure got some favorites.
Yeah, definitely Aladdin, Little Mermaid. I mean, so this is... I don't know, people might not remember this, but we used to have VHS tapes back in the day. So I remember having the VHS of Little Mermaid and also Alice in Wonderland. And so I
had that as well. Yeah,
it's such
every
a good
family,
one.
I swear, just had the VHS collection of all the Disney VHSs.
Oh my gosh, I should have grabbed it. I still have the VHS of Lion King.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just kept it for some reason. Obviously, I don't have a VHS player, but I just kept it just because it's, like we were talking about nostalgia earlier. That was something something I used to watch with my brother all the time. Lion King.
Aladdin was one that my family would always
same.
watch, and A Whole New World,
Yes.
because
my
of
gosh.
that, is one of my favorite Disney songs.
Oh yeah, me and my brother do A Whole New World at karaoke. That's like our thing. And then on like family holidays, my mom will be like, "Please sing A Whole New World, Tamara. You know I love it so much." And I'm like, "Okay, fine. A whole new." No, I'm just kidding.
Break out into a full
twist
song
my
for us.
arm. Yeah, me and my brother would go back and forth with like the Aladdin and Jasmine vocals, but nowhere near as good as the singer is singing.
Whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew.
But yeah, it's like a family thing, you know, like we grew up with that. Yeah, I do think it's cool now that a lot of the female characters in Disney movies are stronger now. Like, you know, that was kind of a lot of people were kind of saying like, oh, they were always this helpless damsel in distress. And now we're getting characters like Mulan, who's like
Moana
such a
and Brave.
Moana, that's what I meant. Moana, Brave, yes, like these incredible, strong-willed, young ladies that really just don't need no mans.
And they have killer songs while they're fighting their way through.
Yeah.
Did you, I'd say growing up, one of my favorite movies ever was Toy Story, which
Yes.
teeters on, well, that's why I'm wearing all this stuff right now.
That's Pixar, right?
Yes, but that's what I was going to say. Can Disney, because that cruise that I was on was sure filled with both Disney and Pixar, I'll tell you that.
Oh, I don't know.
So-
Does Disney own Pixar?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Disney, and I think Pixar actually kind of saved Disney back in the day. If I'm not, oh man, I'm going to get this wrong. But yeah, so anything that comes out, Pixar is Disney. It's always Disney Pixar. So like
Oh.
ever since Toy Story, the very first release, they're always Disney Pixar releases.
Oh, wow.
And I forget who was a part of Pixar, like Steve Jobs or something was like a part of Pixar.
I think you're right.
Something. And it was like failing and he invested this money, or Disney was failing and Pixar saved it. I don't remember. But either way, my favorite movie, animated one, has to be Toy Story.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not done in the same way in the Pixar movies. The songs aren't done in the same way as like the animated ones where they're actually singing and getting into it as much. But You've Got a Friend in Me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
definitely one of the classic songs with Randy Newman's voice.
Me.
With that voice, you got a friend.
yeah.
I don't even know how to do it. That was going to sound so embarrassing.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me.
But do you have a favorite Pixar movie while we're on it now? Because that's when we, as kids, got to experience that, which was cool.
Yeah.
When the movies went from the hand-drawn cartoons
Right, yeah.
to the animated on-screen, like, real.
I know we saw the technology like accelerate in real time. Definitely Toy Story, obviously. I love also Wall-E.
Yeah. Wall-E, on the ship I was on, every night on the roof, there's a massive screen where if there was a party going on, that's where the cameras would be showing what was going on. But then every night they would just play Disney movies, and they played Wall-E one night. So I watched it
I
up
love
on the
Wall-E.
roof with my dad.
I also just
Yeah.
I love the intro of Pixar with the little lamp that like comes in. It's like such a
Boing,
good
boing.
yeah, it's such a good intro. Like you know if you're in the theater and you see that come in, you're like, all right, let me get in here. I'm about to see something.
Yeah, you know it's gonna be a good
Yeah,
one.
it's gonna be heartwarming. I might shed a tear. Like ready.
I think my favorite Pixar movie after Toy Story, because I think that's always just the honorary first position no matter what comes out.
Yeah.
It'll always just be like,
Legend,
my favorite
yeah.
one after Toy Story is Monsters, Inc. I always thought that was the
love
best
Monsters,
concept.
Inc. Oh my god.
The monsters in the closet concept I thought was always so spot on, and using the screams to power the cities. But those ones don't have songs in them really, I guess.
I know. I guess you're right. Yeah, I love Monsters Inc. So you know the little character Boo, the little girl.
Oh yeah,
So-
I know Monsters, Inc. so well.
Yeah, so there's like a picture of me when I was little and I had my hair the same way. So when that movie first came out, my mom was like, "Oh my God, Tamara, they made a character after you." I'm like, okay. Yes, Mom. My mom also, funny enough, so my name is Tamara Dhia. And growing up, if you say it really fast, for some reason, people would hear Cameron Diaz. So there was a
Oh, I can totally hear
yes.
that. Cameron Diaz.
So there was like I was probably like 9 years old or something, and my mom was watching like Entertainment Tonight or something, and they're like, oh, blah blah blah, Cameron Diaz, and my mom like comes running, and she was like, Tamara Diaz. They thought they said my name, and I'm like 9, and I'm like, why would they say my name? But little did she know.
Let's take a step back and look at that.
Yeah, it was really funny, but like oddly, in a weird way, she kind of foreshadowed something because I ended up obviously being on E and doing all those red carpets. So it's just funny that
and MTV.
Yeah, so maybe she foreshadowed something that I wasn't even aware of at that point.
She baked that into your DNA.
Yeah, no. There was another time. We're totally going on to off the rails here, but there was like a telemarketer or something. I forget what I was doing. I was calling someone, and they're like, "Oh, what's your first and last name?" And I was like, "Oh, Tamara Dhia." And then she goes, "Oh my God, I'm such a fan." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Like, I mean, at this point, I did.
What have you seen of
mine?
mine?
I literally was like, "Oh, what are you a fan of?" She's like, "Oh, all your movies." And I was like, "Did you think I said Cameron Diaz?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "No, it's Tamara Dhia." But like, yeah, she legitimately thought I was Cameron Diaz. So funny sidebar. We can reel it back into Disney. But yeah, how funny is that?
Good old Disney. So one thing Disney did last year, excuse me, my voice squeaked, still going through puberty over here. One thing that Disney did last year, they put out a really cool album called A Whole New Sound that I want to touch on because it had a lot of my friends' bands on it.
Nice.
So I grew up in like the Warped Tour world and like the Blink-182 world, the emo music. That's me to my core. And yeah, Disney put out this 12-song album with like iconic bands from our scene like Simple Plan and Newfound Glory, but then a bunch of new artists as well. So I got to highlight some.
Yeah.
And some of the standout tracks of this album, again, A Whole New Sound, which I will say kicks off with Part of Your World, the Little Mermaid track being performed by Newfound Glory.
I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing.
Which was so rad.
That's sick.
My favorite ones that I had to just shout out though was Magnolia Park, who's this awesome pop punk based band from Florida, and they popped off during COVID on TikTok like so many artists have, but they really have paved a way for themselves in the music world. And I know that they love Disney because I interviewed Josh, their vocalist, once a while ago at this point now, but he grew up a huge Disney kid, and he said his dream would be to open up his own Camp Rock because he loved that movie and he loved the concept. So I was so excited to see that these guys got on it. They covered Eye to Eye from the Goofy movie.
If we listen to each other's heart, we'll find we're never too far apart. It may be love is the reason why, for the first time ever we're seeing eye to eye.
And they brought so much rock and energy into it. It was so sick. And then my friend Lolo, she's a Canadian artist who does incredible rock, pop, punk music. She did Let It Go from Frozen.
Classic.
And that was killer as well. But just so I can also let you all know some of the other tracks that are on there, We the Kings did Go the Distance, Plain White Tees did Surface Pressure, You've Got a Friend in Me by Meet Me at the Altar, and there's so many, I don't even know which ones. Can You Feel the Love Tonight by Simple Plan.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I need to hear that cover.
Can you feel the love tonight? It is where we are.
Yeah, oh, it's so good, the whole album. And it's not that old of an album. It just came out in October. But I listened to it when it first came out. And then just now, I should have listened to it before the Disney
I was going to say, you weren't blasting it on the Disney cruise?
I know. I should have. That would have been sick. I should have tried to get them to play it in there, honestly. But Can You Feel the Love Tonight? That's also a favorite song of mine because Lion King, I just remember watching that movie so much.
The love tonight.
And can you feel the love tonight?
My mom's favorite artist is Elton John.
Oh, yeah,
So
legend.
We always grew up with him like during the house parties and stuff playing. And also just because he was in that movie as well doing music, I thought that it was really cool. So awesome album, A Whole New Sound. Everybody should check it out if you want to hear Disney music, but with some fresh pop punk flair added to it because they really covered so many of the classics there. So
Yeah.
check that out. You won't be disappointed at all. Boys Like Girls, Tokyo Hotel, so many awesome artists. But one thing I feel like with the Disney world that I missed out on was I didn't have cable growing up, and so many people did. And while there was like the Pixar movies and the Disney movies to see in theaters, I feel like experiencing Disney Channel was also such a big part of having Disney in your life as a kid.
Definitely.
And just like with their movies, they had iconic songs, whether it was stuff like High School Musical, full-on musicals, or the iconic theme songs of their shows.
Yeah.
But Disney in itself, the channel, was something I wasn't too familiar with, but I know now, like so many names that I see in the pop world, I just hear, oh, they came from Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, I know her from Wizards of Waverly Place.
Yeah.
Oh, I know her. And it's where everyone's popping up from. So Do you know some of the names that are
yeah.
in the pop world right now that have come from the Disney Channel world?
Oh yeah, like I'm actually going to list like the top 10 according to ChatGPT.
And there's so many more, I feel like, because I so constantly hear someone on the radio
There
and
are.
it's like they came from Disney.
There's a lot more than 10, but this is the top 10 biggest Disney crossover stars according to ChatGPT. And obviously a lot of them we're seeing right now on the red carpets for being huge superstars in their own right. But right now, especially with the 2025 award season, but number one, Selena Gomez. Obviously, she started on Wizards of Waverly Place. She's had a ton of success both as an actress and a singer. She's received Golden Globe nominations for her role this year in Amelia Perez, and she just recently attended the BAFTAs. We're going to see her on the Oscars red carpet. She also has her big show on Hulu, the Only Murders in the
Building,
Yeah.
which is such a good show, a favorite of mine and my sister's.
Yes, and she's on that show with such legends, Meryl Streep,
Martin Short, Steve Martin.
I mean,
like
good gosh.
it's so cool. Oh, wait, I interviewed Benny Blanco 2 days ago.
What? Tell me about that. What was that like?
It's coming out on Spout. It came so last minute. It was crazy. But he's engaged to Selena Gomez.
Right.
For those of you who don't know,
Yeah.
we found out so last minute. So we got this. I got this house locked in that I found on Peerspace, and it had a recording studio in it. So we met up there and chatted. It was the day after their song "Scared of Loving You" dropped last Thursday. So our chat was on Friday, on Valentine's Day actually.
Cute.
Which since then it's been revealed that he gave Selena an entire bathtub filled with nacho cheese
saw
for
that.
Valentine's Day.
True love.
Which I know, and I wore a Taco Bell shirt to the interview.
Oh, that's so funny.
But it was great. He is so cool. He's so rad, and he was so dope to talk to. He's just so chatty and talkative. He ended up talking to me a lot about me. At times I felt like I was being interviewed
Oh,
because
that's
he was
funny.
like, "Where are you from? What's that like? Tell me about it." But that was cool, and that's coming out.
Did you guys talk about Selena at all? Did you wish him thanks?
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Selena. We talked about the album. I asked a little bit about the engagement and stuff. He told me how nervous he was of it. But we talked about the album and the process of creating an album with someone you live with 24/7 because they've just announced their album, I Said I Love You First,
Right.
which he told me it was Selena. And he told me the funny story of how she was half asleep from waking up after surgery. And she said, I love you to him. And that was the first time. But we talked about the album, the process of it, and what it was like working together 24/7 with your significant other. And he told some fun stories as well. The dude has so many good stories. So stay tuned for that.
I mean, Benny Blanco is such a legendary producer. He's worked with some of the biggest artists. He's had some of the biggest songs. So
seriously, it's insane. It's crazy. He's one of the people that and he's been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Like when you look at his catalog and you realize like, oh, he's been doing stuff since like early Rihanna hits.
Right,
And you're like,
yeah.
And he would have been like 18 at the time
Yeah.
or something crazy like that. And so props to him because he's a legend. And I love him in Dave. I don't know if you watched the Little Dicky show.
I do watch that. Yeah.
That's what really introduced me to his his personality. I told him that was that show, and I was like, "Oh my god, this dude is so sick."
Yeah.
So, and now he's marrying Selena Gomez, which we are so ecstatic about, and she's one of the many names that broke through into the mainstream.
Yes.
After Disney. So, who else do you have on your list?
All right. Well, first off, I can't wait to see that interview, which I'm assuming might be soon on the Spout podcast.
Yes, I finished the edit. I just finished it. It was
very
a
exciting.
quick one.
Well, next one is a huge one. Obviously, is Miley Cyrus. She was known for Hannah Montana. She's over the years become one of the biggest pop stars and a Grammy award-winning pop star at that. And in 2025, she received a Golden Globe nomination. So she's really tearing it up, and we've seen her grow so much over the course of the last 10 15 years, and she's just really incredible, and I love seeing Miley Cyrus win. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Oh yeah, Bangers is what really got me into her.
Yes.
When that album came out back in 2015, was it that dropped?
It's crazy that it was that long ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I think that's right, but genuinely every song on that album I love and
Yes.
know by heart. And
Underrated
that's just
album,
kept Miley
honestly.
Cyrus on my radar. Yeah. I would, and for how just ridiculously ambitious it was for her, I feel at the time to do what she thought I think was just not caring and having fun. I was
Yes.
like, dang, she's not that Disney girl anymore.
I love me some Miley, man. She really just kind of marches to the beat of her own drummer, and I respect that so much. But another big superstar that came out of Disney is Zendaya. You know, after starring in Shake It Up, Zendaya has earned critical acclaim for multiple projects, arguably one of the biggest names in film right now. And she actually has an insane voice as well. And if she wanted to, she could be a pop star in her own right.
I hope one day you come back to remind me of who I was when I go disappear into that good night.
It's now at the point to where I haven't heard of the shows because it's the younger generation now who's starring in these
Right.
shows and coming out. So I feel like it's a never-ending thing. There's always going to be Disney shows that spawn these pop stars and that spawn. It's kind of like the Mickey Mouse Club, I guess, back in the day.
Yeah.
How that's kind of what it would do is it would spawn a lot of careers.
Oh my
for
gosh,
up-and-coming
Mickey Mouse-
young talent.
Mickey Mouse Club spawned Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, Christina
Britney Spears,
Aguilera, Ryan
Christina Aguilera.
Gosling. Like, I'm probably missing some. Felicity, what was her name? The actress from
I don't
Felicity.
remember, but Disney just has a knack for always creating
It's like a boot camp.
megastars,
Yeah,
music stars.
Yeah, it's like a boot camp and because they're so well versed in all of the arts. Like if you're coming out of the Disney camp, you can sing, you can dance, you can act. So they're really kind of setting themselves up for, superstardom, really. Speaking of other superstars, Demi Lovato came out of Camp Rock, which you just mentioned recently.
Yeah.
Olivia Rodrigo, so these are all straight out of this Disney camp. Obviously, Sabrina Carpenter. So
Yeah, which gosh, and they've really become the biggest names in music now, which is it's cool to see what that's turned into for it seems like so many of them.
I know it's really fun to watch, especially if you grew up watching them. Like I grew up watching Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera.
They were so little on those. I remember the throwback videos of them. They're like
Yes.
5 years old. They look like on those shows.
I know, it's so cute. Like, I was very young as well. But so it's like watching them there and then like seeing so you feel like an innate connection to them in some weird parasocial way, but like you root for them, right? So like I was such a Britney stan, like, she was such a big part of my musical pop journey, even just in terms of me being a reporter. So like it's really cool watching, someone grow up through the lens of their artistry and being a fan for decades.
And as we continue to grow as adults, I just got a text in my ears that was so loud and that just rocked my brain. But as we continue to grow, I have a feeling Disney will stay a part of our lives forever.
Yes.
When's the last time you went to Disneyland or Disney World?
It's been too long, honestly. So again, I'm not a Disney adult, quote unquote, but I like Disney. Like I like going to Disneyland. It's fun, and a lot of my friends have kids now. So going there with children is a whole new experience.
That's what makes it so fun. I
Yes.
swear, just seeing it light up my nephews' faces is what makes me love it. And I can't wait to see what new movies come out, but I'm so excited to show them the classics and to teach them the songs. My nephews, they sing everything they hear now. So I hear them singing
so
the same
cute.
damn songs that I grew
Yeah.
up reading. So with that, I suppose that'll wrap up our chat on Disney today. I was just so hyped on the Disney world, and it's cool after my cruise, and it's cool to see what Disney to this day still just continues to do in the entertainment world. It just cranks out stars and hits from both songs to movies and TV shows and theme parks and everything. So you got to get to Disneyland soon, hopefully sometime, Tamara.
Yes, it's definitely on my short list.
And then I've got my chat with Benny Blanco coming out. That's right. So stay tuned for that. Going to be dropping next week here on the Spout podcast because we're chatting with celebrities about more than what they're famous for right here every week. So thanks so much for tuning in. See y'all next time here on the Spout podcast. Take it easy. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications. See you then.